As an older woman, are you struggling with who you are? Are you having difficulty defining who your true self is after perhaps decades of giving yourself and defining yourself in terms of other people and other roles? I want to talk to you today about reconnecting with your true self and finding happiness in your 60s and 70s and beyond, and to how to redefine who you really, truly are. I've got some happiness boosters, some boomer boosters that can help you to kind of question this long lost identity, this person that you may have lost touch with long ago. Now, my name is Margaret Manning. I'm with 60andMe, and I want to share with you this story today because it's my story too. I think we have all gone through this, and if you're a woman over 60, you're probably entering a new decade, a time of your life, but really not knowing who you are, what you want. And it's so difficult because it becomes so complex. As you get older, things get woven together in a very tangled way, and it's hard to separate them. So I want to help you by asking some questions that you might find useful in, honing in on that true you. Now, one of our bloggers, Harriet Kabbali, wrote this article on reconnecting with yourself after decades of being apart. And I want to just restate that because I think that there's not probably one person who's watching this video who hasn't had moments of doubt, hesitation. Who am I? What do I really want to do with my life? And over the last few months, I've been watching comments that have come through on our 60andMe community, and also a couple of videos that we've done on things that a woman over 60 should quit doing and things that a woman over 60 or 70 should start doing in their lives. And I would say that one of the most common comments and questions and feedback that was given was, it's time for me. I'm going to stop being a people pleaser. I'm going to stop trying to do my life for everybody else. Or I'm going to start identifying what my true nature is, what my true passions are, and live with that and live and go forward. So those were the themes that came through in the comments. So it kind of points back to this dialogue about losing touch with ourselves and feeling like we're just not connected to our true, authentic being. It's easy for it to happen. We've gone through decades of, being in a relationship with other people. Perhaps we were married and then divorced, or we've had children who are now adults and grown up. But still, all those threads, all those connections that we had and that defined us in a workplace. Perhaps in our work environment, we had to change who we are to please someone else or to get ahead in our jobs. There's so many things over those years that have twisted us into conformity with perhaps, a person that we don't recognize now. Now that we're 60, 70, and we've got time maybe to reconsider, we've maybe even got extra time to pursue our passions and to pursue the things that we love. What do we do? What do we really want to do? So I'm going to help you here now. And Harriet's done a really good job in this article. I encourage you to read it, of giving some questions, things you can ask yourself. And then some of these happiness boosters that just might help you to feel energized around a new you. So I guess the bottom line is, what are we interested in? And I think that that's a question we don't even give ourselves the luxury to ask sometimes. We get pulled in one direction or another. We feel like we should be doing X, Y, and Z. We should be helping this person, or we should be supporting this other individual. We should be doing these shoulds instead of what we want to do. So what are you interested in? What are the things that you really, really love? I know I've been through this recently myself, and I share it with you because now that I've taken a little bit of time over the holiday and I've rested and, I've found empty spaces, I've reconnected personally with books. I just realized how much I love reading and how much I enjoy writing. And not necessarily writing stories for 60andMe, but writing for myself and writing just for fun. And I've been exploring some ideas about writing a book, and suddenly it's come back to me how much I love reading. And over the years, I've just not prioritized that. I worked in bookstores for 10 years of my life, and so I've got this kind of in my DNA, I think, this passion for reading. But it isn't until we stop for a second and we say, who is this elusive me? What are you interested in? How many times have you said something like, oh, I used to love doing this, or gosh, it's been so long since I did that, and you say it with this kind of, this passion and this I don't know, this kind of wistfulness, this kind of desire. Gosh, when was the last time I went dancing? I love that. I love dancing. Or can you say to yourself, when was the last time I went out and rode a horse? I love horses. I remember when I was young, I used to enjoy, and so on. You get the idea of just simply asking yourself what you're interested in is a place to start. And it can be a blur. So you have to kind of discipline yourself to say, it's okay. It's okay now to put yourself first. I know it sounds kind of selfish, and it sounds like you're letting other people down, and it sounds like you're not being true to the role that you have spent so long defining. But now it's time. Let it go. Let it go, and trust that other people are going to be okay. Trust that your children are going to be fine. Trust that your workmates are going to figure it out. That the people that you have been a caregiver for, or that you've had a responsibility to, they're going to be okay. Take time now for you. So what are some questions? These are the questions that Hillary suggests, and they're pretty straightforward. You can read them in the article to get like an in-depth penetration of this. Like, it's going to absorb into your body. But here, what truly matters to me? What truly matters? What's important to me? What is meaningful to me? What do I value? Am I living those values? Am I bringing those values into my life? And am I living them in a way that makes me feel good, that energizes me? What excites me and energizes me? And there's another question which is often really helpful, which is, what did I used to enjoy doing? And go back to your childhood. Go way back. And go back to the times when you were little and you're like, I really loved singing, or I loved reading, or I loved I don't know, whatever it is, painting, drawing, thousands of things that you might love doing. But go back. And then finally, I guess this one's more of the spiritual side of it, which is, what makes me feel good and nourished? Where's that connection to something that makes me feel nourished and loved and just good? That kind of Zen moment that comes when you're doing something that you adore. So I guess the point here that these happiness boosters that Hillary talks about are really important. They don't have to be big things. They can be small things. These little boosters, when you've answered yourself those questions, can be as simple as the smell of a lavender plant. It can be just the feeling of a hot chocolate in a funky mug, sipping the hot chocolate and just being there with yourself and reading or painting or thinking or writing. Input that into your daily life. And one thing that is very important is it doesn't have to be all or nothing. If you, for example, love to read, then don't read, big, thick novels, 800 pages. Read short stories. Start there. If you like traveling, you don't have to go on a cruise or spend money that you don't have. You don't have to travel far and wide. You can just go to a bed and breakfast in the next town or on a train journey away and just take one night. Put yourself in the mood of a travel person, or do a staycation where you go visit the places in your own town that you've forgotten. If you love horses, I mentioned that earlier, you can't afford a horse now, or you don't have a house big enough for a horse, go to a stable. Just go somewhere where there's horses. Go to a horse show. Do something that fills that part of you that you miss, that is like reflective of the true you. And I think when we live our lives to our truer selves, even if it means giving up some things that we've attached ourselves to for so long, if we've actually defined ourselves with that role for 50 years, it's time, if you feel it's time, to let it go. If you love it, then stay with it. If you've been fortunate enough in your life to create a work environment or a home environment that blends your passion with your family life and so on, that's great. I am guessing, though, that a lot of you who are watching this are not in that situation. And I really want to help. I mean, as we start this new year, I really want to help us, all of us, to start putting ourselves first. I know this is important to a lot of you. You've told me this. It's not like letting everything else go. It's just putting you center and doing those things that you love. So ask those questions. What do you love to do? What are you missing in your life? Reconnect with your best self, with your true self. And I guess I would ask you maybe to put in the comments below, what are the activities that, as we've been talking, you feel like really would energize you and that you want to do again? You want to start something new this year. You want to start playing the piano. You want to start reading more books. You want to start to travel. You want to start, walking dogs or getting a dog or working in a volunteer situation. What is it you want to do? I'm really, really curious for you to tell me what are those things that that you maybe have put on the back burner. You said, oh, I'm too busy, or haven't got time, or haven't got money, or whatever. And find that sweet spot, those happiness boosters that will bring it back to you and re-energize you. I hope this has been useful. I know it's something that I think about all the time, and I know that when you talk to me through the comments in the section below, I actually really do learn myself, and it helps me, and hopefully together we can feed each other. Now, if you see comments, for example, that other people are leaving, go ahead and jump in. And if you want, by the way, a more kind of, relaxed environment with 60andMe, there's another place you can go, which is our Patreon site. This is a smaller community. It's about maybe 800 women now, but it's great because we have a chance to talk quietly and more intimately and personally. And these kinds of topics come up all the time. And maybe sometimes on YouTube or Facebook, it's more challenging to have a quiet kind of personal conversation. But our Patreon group, patreon.com/60andme, it's the place that you can really just find more friends that are like-minded and bring this to a deeper place. Anyway, hope that you had an interesting time talking this through. Look forward to your comments and have a fabulous day wherever you are. We'll talk again soon. Bye-bye for now.